All right, we are live, and welcome everybody to the Monday Mastermind. We're so glad that you joined us. We've got a jam-packed session for you today. Very interesting, I should think, because it's one of those hangouts where I know we all can learn from. Before we get into that, I just want to go through and find out how everybody's week's been, just generally speaking, because we always will get back to that. We're going to start off with Pops. Oh my word, hold on. I'm hearing myself speak again.
Gotta mute the page, Dave.
Right. Yeah, gotta mute the page. All right, muting the page. All right, so let's start with Pops. Pops, how you doing? How are things going with you?
Doing great. In beautiful Florida yet. We will be in Florida for a while yet. They have some work that needs to be done on the camper. It's warranty stuff up in Panama City. So we are here for one more night, and then we're going to move on to who knows where. We don't care at the moment, as long as we have a connection so we can still hang out with everyone. But we're going to start heading north and find some cool spot, hopefully boondock, and get out of the RV park areas, because it's okay for a little bit. You know, it has its great amenities, but being out in the woods and with water around is even better. So it's been a great week for making progress in business and in lifestyle. It's awesome.
Awesome, thanks. And being said, we'll go over to Jamie and find out how his week's been going. I know his business, his IT business, is thriving at the moment. And so, how's that going for you, Jamie?
I'm doing pretty good. I had a PC to fix Saturday. It took me like 30 minutes to fix it. Now I got another one coming tonight, so it's just constant, and I've been asking people where they've been finding me. They've been finding me on Facebook, because I got a Facebook page for my computer repair business, and they've been finding me on Google, because I got my computer repair business registered on Google. So you type in computer repair in Google, you find JB Computer Repair. That's me, which I'm going to be changing the name to that before too long, because I've got, Shaw Consulting Services, which is what I bought that domain for, to build in website design and consulting services. But it's been a really good week. It's Monday. So far, it's been a good week. This weekend's going to get even better, because it's opening day of deer season, bow season on Sunday, and I'm going to be stocking the freezer. So when Kati and Pops come back by, they got some more meat to get. So that's what I'm looking forward to this Sunday, going, I don't know if it's more the deer hunting or just sitting in the woods, getting a peace of mind and finding myself again is what it's all about. And I think it's more of the finding my peace of mind than it is about the deer hunting. I mean, sure, it's cool to put meat on the table, but it's also better to do what you love, and that's what I love. So
Awesome, man. And then we have Miss Kati Stage, who is sitting there very quietly and innocently and hardly has anything bad to say at all.
Wow.
Kati,
now
how are you doing?
I have to live up to that? Ain't gonna happen. I'm super fantastic, and now I'm really excited to get back to Jamie so I can have some of that deer meat. We actually just cooked some up recently. It was so yummy. I made lettuce tacos. Instead of having like hard shell or soft shell tacos, you use romaine lettuce. Yummy. I'm working on a brand new funnel. I'm super excited about that. Pop's already kind of went through about how our week has been as far as traveling goes. So been knocking those videos out and getting that funnel finished, which having a good internet connection does help. Otherwise, all I can do is just make videos. See, I really have no excuse. I could just keep moving forward and take action. Back to you in the studio.
Awesome. Yeah, and I got to say, along with Kati, I've been making training videos as well. The whole SAMP 3.0 that I'm working on, it is quite a grind. I'll tell you what. When you get stuck into the business from the other side, when I say the other side, I mean from people that are in your actual team, you don't seem to see the light of day for everybody to see what you're doing. So it looks like you're not doing anything, but I assure you I am very, very busy. And in an update here, But you know, I was greeted with a bit of bad news today. My uncle passed away. Not Michael Peter that you guys know, but another uncle of mine. His name's Uncle Eric. He was a musician. Was his own man, was his own boss, never worked a day in his life, was the most resourceful person I know with regards to getting anything done. He could never really work for anybody. I think that kind of runs in the family, but he would never work for anybody. And the only thing against him really was his sheer fact that he was his own boss. He couldn't work for anybody. That was his main thing. One of the most creative people I knew. I remember a story. I just want to share this with everybody here. He told me a story about when he was a kid. His dad was very strict. My grandpa was very, very strict. And when he was at school, he used to catch his bus, but he used to stand on the side of the street walk and have a smoke. He was just a teenager. He had a cigarette in his mouth. And one day he's sitting there having a cigarette in his mouth, and a bus comes over, and his dad's in the bus, and his dad looks over like this and sees him with a cigarette. And he is panicking because he knows what's going to happen when his dad gets home. So he decides he's going to beat the bus home. So he runs through all of the yards, straight a shortcut right to his house. He gets home. He changes his shirt. He changes his trousers. He puts on different cologne, and he changes his hairstyle as well. And he goes in the back of the yard and he starts kicking the ball around. And his dad walks in and says, "I suppose you're proud of yourself." And he goes, "Yeah, we scored 2 goals today." And his dad just went, "What?" He couldn't quite understand because he looked completely different. I think in his mind he was trying to figure out, maybe I got this wrong a bit. One of the most ingenious and quick-thinking people I know. But as I said, entrepreneurship and everything, the guy just had a way of making a buck. And before he passed away, he was in the business of doing voiceover for companies. And so he had his computer, and he was 71 when he passed away. But I'm going to miss him terribly. And I just wanted to share that with you guys out there. But getting back to what we're talking about today, we're going to be talking about, well, actually, we're going to be celebrating Kati and Pops' life on the road and their life hacks and what they get up to, basically what their life looks like for people out there who are interested to know what it's like to actually live a life of financial independence and to be out there with nobody looming over your shoulder. And so I'm going to hand this over to Kati so she can take the wheel right now. And Kati, please, I'm going to put the studio right in your lap. So go for it. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I gave some people forewarning in the comments to grab a piece of paper and a pen. All right, so I just want to say hi to Maria from the Netherlands, Joe Mack from Brooklyn, and Jovi. Awesome, good to see your faces. And I just want to make sure I'm not broken up. Is my internet good? We're good? Okay, so far, just let me know if it's broken up and I can either slow down or something. I'll just let it settle.
Your video is slowing down.
My video is slowing down, or am I just sitting still? Anyway, okay. So what I wanted to talk about before I have you write anything on a piece of paper is some information that is, I just want to know, is anybody compare themselves to other people? I think we all do that. And me especially. So comparing our success to, or ourselves to other people's successes, right? I mean, I struggle with that like big time. I was focused on that. And there's actually, I learned that there's a good side and there's a bad side of that. And it depends on how we're wired individually, right? So if you're a highly competitive person like me, comparing can be a good thing where you say, well, if that person can get results, then I can get that too, right? And you can actually look at someone else's results and wonder, if that person can get those results, how can I get that or get it better, right? And I see that Maria says that she also compares herself with other people. This is good. I mean, this is normal, right? Competitive people also look at it as someone else's, when they take action, they say like, okay, I see them doing that, I should be doing that too, right? But here's where it can actually go negative. If you are comparing yourself to someone else that you can't seem, no matter what you do, you can't get to their level of success, and it's actually time to change the model. And get this, listen up, is to start compare to something different, right? That they have this person that you're comparing yourself to that has all the success, they have that success, they have that different background, they connected with different people that you may not be able to be connected with, they have completely different story, so you may not have all of those things. So here's a better way, okay, to find yourself when you find yourself in a destructive mindset when it comes to comparing yourself with others. Is a better way to go is to compare yourself with you. Has anybody done that? Right? So compare yourself today with the person that you were yesterday and make sure that you're making progress, because progress is perfection. Right? We can't be perfect, of course, but we can strive to be that way. Why not? So as long as you're using yourself to inspire further action, further growth and further development, further wisdom, further education and new skills, or even sharpen the skills that you already have. Like this Saturday, we had a group of us. I went through the process of showing people what their skills are that they may not have remembered when they developed when they were a kid. How cool. That was really cool, wasn't it, Dave? That was so cool. So then you're going to be in great shape when you do that, I'm telling you. So there's also a danger of comparing to someone who is doing less than you, because you think, well, maybe I should slow down a bit, because everybody else is going slow, I should go slow. But as Jim Rohn says, or he said, is that maybe you need to go and get around the right crowd and surround yourself with people who are achieving more. I'm sure we've heard him say that. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So what this does is get you closer to knowing your calling and your purpose in life. Because if you know what your purpose in life is, if you find that, you would already be working towards that as an unstoppable human being who takes action like they have something important to share, right? There's no barriers at all. You're unstoppable. And no one is going to get in your way from doing that. I promise you. So I love this quote from Zig Ziglar. He says that you're not born to be a wandering generality. Become a meaningful specific. I can't even say the word. But if you find meaning, right? If you find meaning in life, washing dishes or serving tables or taking out the trash, then by all means, keep doing that. Keep doing that, because we need those people. Otherwise, nothing would get done around in this world. We thank you for your service. However, if you want to learn more about how to become a meaningful specific, is to, make your mark in this world with your voice, then you need to grab a piece of paper and a pen and go ahead and comment yes in the comments below when you have them, when you have the piece of paper and pen. All you millennials watching, please see your senior generation to find out what a pen and paper is. So go ahead and grab that, because I'll be asking you to write down 4 questions. Go ahead and comment yes down below when you have them. Then after we go through these 4 questions, I will be giving you an assignment to do tonight. And after this hangout, I want you to do that right after this hangout or right before you go to bed. So for tonight, I want you to put your phone away, not check your social media, or watch your favorite show before bed. You can live without that stuff for one night. Yes, I can understand for those of you who are parents and you got to put your kids to bed, but right after you put your kids to bed, I know that's your quiet time, but use that time instead of watching TV or scrolling social media to write this stuff down and go through it. And what I'm going to teach you is the life script. Okay, you're going to write this out. You have to take the time to write out your life script. Then after that, we go through this, Pops is actually going to share something that will actually take some time that you may want to do it at night or in the morning also, and you use that time to turn it into something amazing. So what Pop has to share is pretty cool too. So looks like everybody's got a piece of paper and a pen. I'm getting a whole bunch of yeses. I love it. All right, so here is question number 1, and I'm going to say it in a way where you're going to write it exactly how I say it. So it's going to be as you are saying it to yourself. So write this down. What do I really want? Question mark. Allow your ego to answer this. That's okay. What do you really want? Allow your ego to answer. Okay. You don't have to answer right now. You can come back to these questions because I'm going to go through these. Number 2 is, how would I really like things to be? Question mark. How would I really like things to be? And if I am going too fast, I can type the questions in the comments as well. But it's always good to have this written by hand. And I hear that blue ink is better than black ink. Just throw that in there. Maria, yes, yes, yes. Number 3 is, what does my life look like with my current problems all solved? What does my life look like with my current problems all solved? Put yourself in that space. How does it feel, right? It's going to be amazing. So what does my life look like with my current problems all solved? Number 4, and the last question, is, what does an ideal day in my life I want look like? This was the hardest question I asked myself, and I couldn't write anything down because I had no clue what I wanted. Those were some strange days for me. So what does an ideal day in my life, in the life that I want to look like? So what does an ideal day in the life I want look like? Question mark. And here's a helpful tip. If you, this is what actually helped me to find out exactly what my ideal life looked like, and what I wanted in my life, is I had to go negative first. You can also say, what do I not want in my life first, and then you can write down the opposite, and that's what you want in your life. If that makes sense. So there's a tip for you. And then I'm gonna type this in so you don't have to try to write as fast as you can, but I'm gonna put this in the comments too. This is something that I want you to read every day, as basically, yeah, I'll write it. Yep, I'll write it in the comments, Maria. So this is like an affirmation, okay? And basically you're speaking to your subconscious, okay? And it's some powerful stuff, because words are very powerful. If you don't believe me, let me know how that negative talk has been going for you lately. Works, doesn't it? So here's what I'm going to have you write down is, I now live in the frequency of abundance, and I always have more than enough for what I want and what I need. So I'll write that in the comments. So this is where the life script comes into play. when you write all these 4 things down and you answer these 4 questions, you put it all together and you basically make your life script and in what your perfect day would actually look like in a way where it's not one specific day, but your life, right? Yeah, exactly, Marie. Touche. See, isn't that funny? Nobody really talks about that. They're like, affirmations don't work, being positive doesn't work. Well, you've proven to me that negative works because it's working for you. So please take your time and actually write these things down and go through it tonight. So if anybody wants to come on here and chit chat, I want to actually know from the panel if anybody has ever written this kind of stuff down before and what their experience is, and has it worked for you or so far. Maybe you may not have like the ideal life right now because you know, if you did, I don't think you'd be here. Well, maybe I don't know, but if anybody wants to chime in on that.
Yeah, I find it interesting, that first question about what do I want. I remember 4 years ago, the one thing I wanted was never to want for anything again. I didn't want to have to be in a position where I needed to rely on anybody to provide for me. I didn't want that. I also didn't want to work for anybody ever again, because you know, it's a funny thing when you leave school and you kind of like get a job and you're all excited, and then when reality hits, you kind of realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm spending my entire day doing this one thing, and I got to come in again and do it again tomorrow, and then sometimes Saturday after the week. And the one thing I really didn't want was to work for anybody, or to be in a position where I had to ask for anything. Now, I understand, you need to understand that my whole life has been that. My whole life has been when I've had to rely on friends and family for everything. There are a lot of my friends that have actually helped me in the past, and I never wanted to be in that position again. And when I look at my life now, the one thing I can say is that I am not in that position anymore. I am in control of what I do. And so that has really worked out for me. How would I really want things to be? That was the second question, right?
Yeah, how would I really like things to be? I did put it in the comments there now.
What I really like things to be, I guess that's still working out, in the sense that ultimately I want to be in a position where I'm running my own youth center. In my mind, I already have the people that are around me. I've already picked out the people that want to work with me on this. So I've got all of my staff chosen, so to speak. I even have the place in my mind that I'm going to buy in my mind already, and that's going to work out. But having my own youth center is something I really want that to be. So I'm working towards that goal. What does my life look like with all my current problems solved? Well, I think the answer is peaceful. You know, being at peace. Is that a good enough answer, or is that too vague?
If it feels a little bit vague, just maybe elaborate on that. So what does my life look like with my current problems all solved? So yeah, you can write down feelings, anything that inspires you to write something down. Like Dave feels what?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to talk about feelings and stuff. So I'm a guy. I'm not going to be talking about feelings. But you know, I get that. I mean, it's kind of weird being in a position where you don't need to rely on anything or rely on anyone to give you work. So that's kind of a weird feeling at the moment. But to be in a position where, or to be grateful to have a life of gratitude. You know, yeah, I suppose. I don't
Yeah,
know,
don't
maybe
feel
I'm
like
being too
you.
vague. So,
No, it's something that you can work on for sure, and just really, really take the mind and just, even if it's just like unbelievable, just write it down. Or even if you feel guilty that you're allowing your ego to answer, which I usually have a trouble with. I'm not saying that I'm not egotistical at all, or I don't have some kind of ego, but I'm just saying when it comes to these kind of questions, it's hard for me to say that I am deserving enough. That's where that problem comes from, because I feel like I don't deserve it. And I thought that for a long time. And I thought I was supposed to be like this wandering generality. And I'm supposed to, have good grades, go to school, get a job until I'm 40, and then retire and then enjoy life. But once I got into this space of surrounding myself with people saying, and it just totally shift my paradigm, completely turned my world upside down, and everything, I just started questioning everything. And when I was taught these kind of questions early on, I had to fight mentally with myself. Like, you don't deserve this, or what makes you so special, right? And all this other stuff. What can you do? How can you change the world? And all this bad stuff that happens internally. It's real. It's absolutely real. And so, and another thing that we're taught in this industry is to drop the ego, because on that aspect, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about helping other people, it's about giving. And if you're trying to chase money, then it's not going to take you very far. So in that regard, drop your ego that way. But when you really want to ask yourself, what do you really want, let your ego answer, for sure. So there's anybody else want to share anything at all? Or otherwise I got something else I can share. It kind of goes along with it.
I've done something similar, but it was from Think and Grow Rich, which is one of your favorite books, and it's called Major Definite Purpose. And when I actually used it, it worked. I got sales, I got leads with it, but when I quit using it, it quit working. So, I mean, you have to continually use, like this formula. It's a formula pretty much that Katie's giving you. You have to use this formula and write out what your purpose is. And that's basically what you're doing, what your purpose is. And just like the Major Definite Purpose, you have to define what you want, how you're going to get it, and what you're going to do to get the service. And I mean, you're pretty much describing the same thing here, just in a different format. And it's kind of like goal setting. If you don't define what you want, then you're not going to get what you want, because you're too broad and everything. And this is really narrowing it down to what you want. What for me to answer question one, I can answer probably 1 through 3. I don't know if I can answer 4 yet, because I don't really know what my ideal day is. But for number 1, what I really want, I want to serve my community. I want to serve the people, and I want to help as many people along the way as I can. Number 2, how would I like? I can't read my own writing. That's pretty bad. How would I like my life? What was question number 2?
Question number 2 is, how would I really like things to be?
Oh, okay, got it. How would I really like things to be? Well, this can be a tricky one, but we see
You're
all
fighting with your
the
ego, aren't you?
Yeah, we see all the turmoil in the world today. Do I agree with the NFL players taking a knee? No, I don't. As a veteran, from a veteran standpoint, I feel you're disrespecting all veterans when you take a knee during the national anthem. It's not about what you're being wronged as an American, whether you're Hispanic, black, white, Asian, whatever. It doesn't matter about that, because all the guys that went over there and died for our country, they didn't care about what color they were. They cared about that they were brothers next to each other. And that's all that matters. And that's what that flag represents. The brothers that died for you. You know, and how would I like things to be? I would like things to be the way they used to be, you know, a long time ago. People said hi to each other on the street as they passed by. And when, you know, when the next door neighbor needed their help mowing their yard because they were just got out of the hospital, you know, you go over and mow their yard for them. You know, or your other neighbor, you know, needs a cup of sugar, you take them a cup of sugar. You know, that's how I'd like to see the world the way it used to be. But, you know, that's my opinion of what I would like things to be. Number 3, what does my life look like with all my current problems solved? My life with all my current problems solved would look very lucrative. I would have the ability to help whoever I wanted to help and teach whoever I wanted to teach, and have the ability to, you know, go out and learn whatever I needed to learn to teach what I needed to teach. Number 4, what does my ideal day look like in my life? Right now, my ideal day is sitting at a deer stand with my eyes closed, just grabbing the tranquility of the forest and being one with the earth.
Beautiful. Dave, that's what feelings feels like. Ooh, that's awesome. Jamie, actually, I was going to share that actually in the comments, is the Think and Grow Rich thingy. Did he freeze or am I frozen? I think Jamie's frozen. Oh, there. Okay, now he moved. Hold on one second.
And now for this commercial break.
You know, all those things, all those questions that need to be answered are really awesome, and they'll set you for, you know, personal future goals. But bear in mind also that, as Zig Ziglar said, the amount of stuff that you're going to end up with or that you want, you'll get it as long as you help enough people get what they want. So it is all about serving. And Jamie, you got that right. You got to help people solve their problems. And that is the main objective on how to get to where all these questions, the answers to all these questions, how you will get through those and turn them into a reality for yourself. Because it is all about helping other people, no matter what, and everything in life. Whether, you know, we do that from day one anyway. When we were kids, we would be doing that, helping other people. For the most part, of course, you know, there's always fights and all that stuff with kids, but you know, that's a learned thing that they got. It just that doesn't come natural. Helping people comes natural. Especially we realize that again as we become adults. When you look back on some of the things that people have helped you with, and you realize the feeling you got from that and the relief that you had when that happened. And you want to turn that around, pass it forward. And that's a big thing in getting what you want. That's a big key and a big part of it.
Don't everybody speak at once. This quiet stuff is for the birds.
Or the hottie dogs.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So what I'm going to share actually is what Jamie was talking about, is the Think and Grow Rich. And I'm going to actually have that in the comments here. There's actually a free PDF file to grab, Think and Grow Rich. And the assignment is, don't just read this book, you have to dissect it. Like literally dissect it. I read this book, I can't tell you how many times, but for some reason, when I just kept going back to the book, it just hit me. Am I frozen at all, or are we good? Jamie and Dave are frozen. Me and Dave are frozen. Oh boy.
Dave's frozen on my end, so.
At least he's got a smile on his face. Anyway, so the assignment is don't just read the book, you dissect it and do the assignments given in this book. And the challenge is to go page 45, and you go to the self-confidence formula. And for 21 days in a row, once in the morning, once before you go to bed. And then you go to page 61 to follow the summary of instructions. And I was just saying that after 2 years, I'm still doing this practice, and it's helped my income increase. Just like how Jamie says when he did it, it helped him as well. What I like to do is I like to read my life script. Is I wrote it down in pen first, and then I actually put it in my phone because it's a lot easier to read on my phone than it is turning on the light and looking at the paper. And I can read read it better because of my handwriting. But I put it on my phone, and I also read the Think and Grow Rich self-confidence formula. But first, I read the summary of the summary of instructions. What is it? It's called something else. I forgot what it's called. JB said it once. But that's how you get it, summary instructions. But it goes and tells you what Napoleon Hill says is in those instructions. That he says to tell the universe what you want, how much you want to make it, and by when. However, you can't just make the money for nothing. So what are you going to give in return to obtain those riches, basically? So you're just going to have to tell the universe that I'm willing to give this up. I'm willing to give up my time to do this, to sharpen my skills, to learn something, to invest into education, to follow what my mentors are telling me to do, and work on trying to find my purpose. And what I'm going to give is give back to the community. Cool. Maria has Think and Grow Rich in Dutch. That's awesome. And she did the exercise as well. So great book. Awesome. And if you want to tell us your experience on that exercise, Maria, as in, you still doing it or have you stopped? I was given by one of my mentors to do this for 21 days in a row, and I did it. And I kind of fell off, and then went back to it again, fell off and went back to it again, continuing to rewrite my date and when I wanted my goal. And that's okay to do. That's what I was struggling with in the past, is writing down a goal, because I was afraid if I didn't meet my goal, then I was a failure. But as Pops told me, it's good that you can rewrite your goal and just keep going forward. So with that, Pops, would you like to share a little bit of your stuff with us tonight?
Sure, absolutely, I'd love to. This is what we get to do, partly because of the lifestyle that we're living. We can spend more time, diving into this stuff and improving on ourselves. It's a great benefit to this lifestyle that we have, and meeting different types of people and exploring, well, in our case, the United States. And it's been a goal of mine for years to be able to do this, and I was finally able to realize that circumstances weren't the best, because I did wait for my father to die before I was able to do that, and that's fine. That we do what we need to do, and we take advantage of what we can when we can, and it's been a great ride. And my dad and I talked about it, and he was all for it, of course. He was a traveler as well, and my mother. They traveled the globe a lot, but a lot of the United States they saw, because they camped a lot. That's where I got turned on to it as a kid, because they took us all over the United States camping, and it was a great adventure. And so he knew full well what my intent was when he was dead, and so he was totally for it. And so this is a great benefit. And what I like to do is I like to meditate, and I feel like I can get more in touch with a lot of the questions that Katie shared with you. however you get into yourself and can really quiet everything down is the best way I found, because there's a lot of noise out there. It's like a mountain. Out the mountain is just all kinds of stuff going on in the mountain with the seasons. There's the rain and the mudslides in the springs, and freezing in the winter, and excuse me, the animals get cold and they have to find something to eat, and a lot of them suffer. But that's all the hardships on the outside of this mountain. In the middle of the mountain, in the middle of your mountain, is a quiet place that never changes. The temperature is the same. There's no noise. And if you can find your mountain, get into your mountain and just close your eyes and breathe deep and have an intention. And that's what I found for me is the best way to meditate. There's guided meditations you can start out with if you have questions on how to get started and all that. But for me, I just have an intention, and I close my eyes and put my hands on my knees. And I'll even do it when I'm laying down. And I'll get really deep into myself and shut everything out on the outside, even if you have to put in earplugs. But the more you get used to doing that, though, you won't need to do that. You'll be able to just shut out the outside and concentrate on you. And you'll find things inside yourself that you don't know are there as yet. Seriously. I became more mellow as time goes by, and it's that, I know they'd tell you that's from age, but I met just a guy the other day here, Don, who does some of the work for some of the owners of these sites. These are all private sites that they rent out when the owners aren't around. And this guy's like bouncing off the wall all the time. I mean, he was not at peace at all. So there is a difference to get inside yourself and find your peaceful place. And it will really help with any of the turmoil that you think you have, which is a choice to pay attention to that stuff, actually. We all have been told that before. My folks used to say, you made the bed, now you got to sleep in it. It's one of my dad's favorite sayings, And it holds true. We all make our own situations, and then we poo-poo about it and worry about it and get kicked off about it instead of changing it or correcting it. Or if you can't change it, you learn how to accept it by going in deep inside, and you'll find a place where you can be comfortable with whatever, because it's important not to be in turmoil in your mind. It does you no good. Like they were talking before about, you said, the negative self-talk is going to affect you just as the positive self-talk is going to affect you. And that's an important thing to consider, even in joking. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and a joke. So if you say some stupid crap like, boy, this was stupid of me or whatever, that's just does no good. Say, well, that was, I guess that was unfortunate, so I'll have to change it next time. And your subconscious will pick up on that and will help you try to change that. Instead of slamming yourself, it does no good whatsoever. And to find that mountain, get into that mountain, and if you've never meditated before, you're going to find a spot eventually as you go. It may not turn you on right away, but I encourage you to just keep going at it. Like Katie was talking about the 21 days. You make it a habit. And there's some school of thought about the 21 days, by the way, is hogwash. If you don't do it for 21 days and then think it's automatically going to be a habit, because I've been off cigars for 2, 3, 4, 5 months and went back onto it again. So it's hogwash. But when you find that spot where you're comfortable and keep doing it, keep practicing it, you're gonna find a world of peace inside yourself. And it's about God. Praying is a form of meditation. If you find it, do it yourself and get really deep inside. There too, it's getting deep inside. It's just so peaceful, like inside that mountain, and you're going to love it. And I highly encourage you to just keep practicing it and get back to me. Let me know how it's affecting you, because I really want you guys to do this, because you're going to find, well, I keep saying it, you're going to find that spot, that sweet spot inside you where you can go and everything will be calm. All the outside noise will be gone. Anything that affects you out there will be gone. And the more you do it, the quicker you can get into it. The quicker you'll find that spot, and you can just put it all aside and find your real true self and your meaning. I'll find your real meaning in life. If you're struggling with something that you're doing, now, and you're telling yourself, you know, your intention when you go in, like, I really need to find a place, find a way to do this and do it better and be more effective so I can help more people or change whatever situation. And you're giving yourself permission and you're giving yourself a command at the same time to find your solution. Get inside and you'll find it. If you're very from that, then you kind of wish for that, and you just move around and start getting into something else. You kind of told your subconscious that it's not important, and the subconscious won't help you find that solution. So get in there and be peaceful with yourself. That's what you got to do. Be peaceful with yourself, and then you'll love yourself as well. I love this traveling, man. I can just expand my horizons, because I don't have the outside influence because I did move away. It's definitely more difficult while I was living in Newport at home because of all the surroundings and the distractions and all that. So it can be a difficult spot if you got to get in your car and drive somewhere and find a park and do it there, to get away from some of the noise that is going to distract you, because you need to be alone. And you'll find it. You'll find you can make that a habit for the rest of your life, and it'll just be awesome. Back to the studio.
Oh, your camera went off for a second.
No, I hit the wrong button.
You know, if I can just say something here with regards to making things a habit. And, you know, I, as many of you know, quit smoking just over a year ago. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, I never really, I enjoyed smoking. It's one of those things I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it. And if it weren't that expensive to smoke, I probably wouldn't do it now. But I'll tell you this, I know from a mental perspective that it probably isn't a good idea for me to do it. And if you put me in the right environment, if you put me in with the right people, with a certain amount of time, if I was surrounded by smokers again and put in that situation, I could very easily go that way. But it's because I've made a decision to not be around people who do that all the time, where I'm in a position now where it's easier. I mean, there's always going to be that lingering thing at the back of my mind, like, you know, for smokers, I still have the craving, but my desire is kind of gone. But if I wanted to, I could switch that around. It's like Pops was saying, you know, just because you stop something for 21 days or you start something for 21 days, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to have success. You have to really make an effort. You've got to internalize that decision and make it part of you. And it's a constant battle that you got to fight. And I don't believe that there's any part of my life that's ever going to have a little bit of a thing about maybe I should smoke again. The interesting thing about it is that even when people say, gee, it must be hard to be around cigarettes, and it isn't, because I still have the exact six pack of cigarettes underneath my desk, and I haven't smoked them in over a year. Because in my mind, I've always made this concerted effort not to. And even though I could easily go the other way, and it's the same with success, we've got to choose to create habits, and we've got to choose to change our lifestyle so that we can go in that direction we want to. And I think it's because we're conned into thinking that success is easy. that it's easy. And the truth is that it's not. You've constantly got to have your back on the wall, making sure that you move forward all the time. And when you make that a habit, you start to, it does become a little bit easier, but you've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep doing it. You cannot stop. If you keep on stopping, that's going to be your habit. You're never going to complete something. But the truth is, no, if I decide to do something, I do it. If I want to make some training videos, I do it. If I want to make some videos on YouTube, I do it. If I want to blog for a while, I do it. I make a commitment. I don't start something half-heartedly and don't complete. And I think it's because we have this world view of what you are as a person. I mean, Kati, isn't that right? I mean, it's about really having a really good, healthy view about who you are and what you want and what you desire. Because negative talk to yourself really does affect you. I can remember a time when somebody said to me, "Why are you so negative all the time?" And I used to just retort back saying, "Oh, it's just who I am. Oh, it's, I just can't help it." But the truth is, you can help it. When you know, it really does affect you. We're around people that don't think that you're contributing, or somebody's making fun of you all the time, or somebody's putting you down all the time. That has an effect on you. So you've got to choose to be around people that build you up all the time. Why do you think I'm always hanging around these wonderful people? Because they edify me, they help me, they think carefully about what they want to say. And even though we may not feel like it, we understand that we want to give people the right type of medicine. We want to give people the right type of fertilizer, the right type of, we want to give them sustenance and nourishment to grow as a human being. I mean, what are you actually giving to other people? How did your language change when you get off this hangout and you go and speak to other people? Are you encouraging or are you discouraging? Why don't you go through a day of being a helpful person? I'll tell you a very interesting story, what happened to me when I was a kid. And my mother used to do this to us. I used to have friends all over all the time. And I'll never forget this for as long as I live. But there are 9 fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, helpfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And every single day, my mother would give us a part of the Spirit to be love. So we would have to act lovingly toward everybody around us for that day. Joy. Somebody would have to be joyous for that entire day. Somebody would have to be peaceable and trying to make peace. All of the fruits, and we would have to be that particular entity for that day. And you make it part of your life. And that's a very good habit to have those habits so that you can influence other people. But if you're always dispelling hate, and you're always dispelling jealousy, and you're always dispelling discouragement and unhelpfulness and sarcasm and ridiculing people and putting them down, how do you think that's going to affect your life? It's always going to have a bad effect on you. And that's why it's always helpful to be around people who want to lift you up and who want to encourage you. And I've actually witnessed this myself, that if you are a certain way around people all the time, it rubs off of other people, the way that you speak. There's a certain thing that I've always said from the very beginning, from when I've started. And it's the phrase, keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. I always say it. I try and say it in most of my videos. I try and say it in most of my blogs. I say it every time I finish an email, keep on keeping on. And the people that have followed me and have listened to what I've said, what's very interesting is that when I get into a conversation with them, that phrase will come up at some point of the conversation. I was just speaking to somebody today, and they actually said the phrase, "Oh, we gotta keep on keeping on," without even thinking about it. They're just saying it. Why? Because it rubs off of other people. But if you're going to say something negative, if you're going to say something dispelling and discouraging, that also is going to rub off of other people. So why not be the difference? If you have to go to work tomorrow, let me give you a little bit of advice, something that would change people's life. Why not, for the week, go to work tomorrow and make a cup of coffee for somebody. Make a cup of coffee for somebody, and then the next day make a cup of coffee for somebody else. Make it part of your routine that you do something for somebody else. Why not? And then when that's finished, the next week, go and find out how somebody is doing. Ask them a genuine question, then remember it and follow up with it the next day. Be different, be encouraging, be the force, so that when you leave the room or when you are absent, people will miss you because they'll want to be close to you. That's all I have to say, really. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything, but
yeah, I was going to touch a little bit on the same thing you were talking about. In your analogy, you know, buy somebody a cup of coffee or whatever, and to help yourself. We always feel better about ourselves when we do things that are out of the ordinary. Even picking up trash that's on the street. And I'll pick it up and throw it away when I can because it doesn't belong there. It looks like crap. And I don't like that. And it shouldn't have never been there to begin with. And somebody has to pick it up. The longer it stays there, the uglier it gets. And I go to a grocery store and somebody's behind me and I'll give them my cart and I'll just grab another one. Why not? And that's just, and then they show gratitude. You know, some of them I get surprised and going, whoa. But, you know, and I feel good about myself for doing that. And that's just little things. And we as marketers and what we're doing are working on accomplishing bigger things, but everything starts little. Everything starts with the little stuff and then expand it. So every day when you see something out of sorts, try to put it together. Take a moment. We only have so much time on the earth, but if you run through it, it's going to take, you know, a short time to get there. If you take your time, somehow your time expands. It's so bizarre. Nobody can explain that, quantum. But little things like that, you know, just little things. It all makes a big difference, especially if you do it for someone, but even for you, something that you don't like to see, like me and my trash bin, if you want to call it that. I'll pick it up and I'll throw it away later. I'll never throw a cigar butt down in the street. Even though it's biodegradable and it'll go away, I don't do that. It's just not right. I have no right to put that there, but I have every right to pick something up that doesn't belong in somebody else's space. So, Dave touched on that. Great. Do something for people, and it'll help your psyche as well and your soul.
we're actually coming to the end of this hour. It's coming to the top of the hour, and I want to say that I just wanted to express my gratefulness for everybody on this panel, for everybody watching. I want to thank Jovi for being on here, and Maria, and Joe McKenzie, and Joe Whistler. Everybody that's watching right now, we are truly grateful for you being here. And you know, if you see us during the week on the book face, as Katie likes to call it, say hi. We definitely would like to say hello back to you. We understand that you may think that you're invisible, but you're not. We know what it's like to be invisible at one stage of our lives. We've always been there. And we want you to know that we do care about you, and we want you to achieve more than what you have. But you know what? With that comes advice, and sometimes we'll tell you stuff that you don't want to hear. Getting out of your own comfort zone and doing things that you're not normally used to doing. And that's really the key to growing and being something different. I want to just give Jamie the last word here. Because Jamie's quite quiet. They're sitting in the background. And Jamie, you want to say something before we go?
I don't really have much to say. You know, this has been a humbling episode of the 24-Hour Marketing Mastermind. And I'm just humble right now. I mean, the information is great. The value is there, and when you're taking that kind of information in at the heart, when somebody's teaching you from the heart, then there's no words left to be said. So
Appreciate that. And Katie, you want to say something?
No, I can't top that because what Jamie said was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Okay, cool. And Pops, thank you so much for the last word. I do appreciate you, man. And I think Pops is a great example of somebody who's a great servant to other people. He really does want to help, and he wants to help others. And we can see it straight from him when he speaks from the heart, because we really do appreciate sincerity. I want everybody here to know that we are in the business of helping people. We want people to succeed. But we need you to understand that success is something you need to work at. It's something you need to grind at. It's something you need to sometimes cry about, because you need to get over that hump and you need to work at it every day. And that is a part of life. And so we want you guys to be encouraged and to keep working and try and be better versions of yourself, everybody to see. And that comes in with business. And if you want to make a difference in business, you've got to stand out and you've got to be something different. And you've got to be the person where people take notice of. And I'll tell you the one thing that really stands out above everything else that you can do, and that is if you love people from your heart, if you really love people and you want the best for other people, that is what's going to stand out. And so with that being said, take this and put it into your business, put it into your life, put it into your relationships. It makes such a difference. With that being said, we're going to say goodbye. We will see you same time next week. Be here. Don't forget to catch Jamie's hangout on Thursday. And don't forget to catch us on Wisdom Wednesday as well, 8 p.m. Eastern. I know Jamie's at 8 p.m. Eastern as well. And don't forget Maria and Sonia on their 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow as well. You guys have a tremendous time. We will see you next week. Cheers.